Tommy Rex, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now, here's your host.
Louder Than Life, North America's loudest rock and metal festival returns to Louisville this September with My Chemical Romance, Iron Maiden, Tool, Limp Bizkit, plus Pantera, Pierce the Veil, Gojira, Papa Roach, and more. Nearly 200 bands across 7 stages. Louder Than Life at the Kentucky Expo Center, September 17th through 20th. Passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down at louderthanlifefestival.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and I've just been catching up and talking about the music scene from here to up to Canada with Ryan and Slam from the band Yeti on Horseback. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, I forgot to mention too. It's like I tried going down to our national park last night with my lady to try and catch the meteor shower, and like earlier this summer there had been some Sasquatch sightings supposedly, so I could see Yeti on horseback riding through town here, man, and making some friends right away.
We like coming out for the meteors, man.
Yeah, unfortunately we had horrible overcast. I couldn't see shit. The cloud cover ruined it.
Yeah, we had that here too. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucked, man, because like usually I live closer to the city, so I wanted to get away from all the light pollution, and try and see the clear skies, and it still didn't matter being in the national park, But anyway, we were here to talk about meteors. We're here to talk about Yetis on horseback and your guys' music. But usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to go like way back. So when you were like little Ryan and little Slam, do you guys remember originally what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I wanted to be an NBA basketball player or detective. If we're going all the way back.
Yeah.
Neither of those were in my future. I started breaking the law and I could never dunk.
What about you, Slam?
I was really into sharks. I wanted to go into like the study of sharks, but then you get it to be a teenager, you find music and fun things to smoke. And time kind of carries the old dream from there.
Yeah, the rest is history. Well, let's talk about like around the house when you guys like kind of first discovered music. What was like being played around the house when you guys were little?
Lots of eclectic things, mostly from my mom and her brother, my uncle. So Guns N' Roses and Stevie Wonder and Patsy Cline, Metallica, Led Zeppelin. It was just a big mix of everything. And then, in the early 90s, for me, it was grunge and hip hop, everything. I just feel like I've just been absorbing everything since a young child and still do to this day.
Gotcha. What about you, Slam?
Both my parents were musical growing up, so got a lot of cool, weird music growing up, like Mahavishnu Orchestra. Yes, was one of my first concerts I went to with my dad. And then when I started playing, I got really into Primus and then into death metal, and kind of here we are.
And then when was it that you guys caught the bug and started wanting to play yourself?
Well, I always wanted to play, but just never did. There wasn't a guitar around the house or anything like that. So And in high school, I didn't take guitar. I barely got through that shit. So I didn't pick up the guitar until I was about 26 years old. And that was just a lifelong music fan. And I finally had my own guitar, and away I went.
Nice. How about you, Slam?
I was in music since I was like 6. Started piano, went to bass, and then started playing in a few bands in high school, and kind of just always was the hobby and passion that, was a good creative outlet. Got to meet a lot of cool musicians, and it's just it's been a lifelong passion, man.
And did you guys like grow up around the same area?
Same
Kind of,
time.
sort of, yeah, same timeline. You're a bit older than me, so you were hanging out drinking at the bars when they were a lot cooler.
That's right. Yeah. Back in the day when things were good.
Hey. And what was like the music scene like in your guys' town?
London was pretty cool well, I mean, it still kind of is. It's a bit less underground now, but I mean, call the office, the Wick, Embassy, tons of fucking bands come through, and it was always like, there's always something to do, something to see.
Yeah. In between Toronto and Detroit, it'd be a place where bands would come and just a layover and play one more show, make a little bit more money, and have a couple more beers. So lots of punk rock bands back in the day. And, we used to have London Gardens where, Deep Purple and Supertramp and all these bands used to play back in the day. It's not like that anymore, but it's a cool town.
Nice. And then when was it that Ryan, you came out of the bar and you connected with Slam, and Yeti and Horseback came together?
Well, the band was been around for a while, and Sam, he's been in bands, and I wanted another vocalist and maybe a lead vocalist, even though that was my job before. But I just asked him if he knew anybody, and he goes, "Well, I'd like to give it a whirl." So I was like, "Wow," I didn't even think he would, because he's kind of a local legend here. So yeah, we only knew each other from me being in this band and him being in his other bands, but now we're the best of friends and in a band together, and he's really kicked it up a few more notches in this band for sure. Gave us a lot of credibility and a nice voice.
So this was like your baby then, Ryan, originally?
Yeah, something I started with a bunch of friends that we just loved drinking and smoking, and then it turned into jamming. And by the time we were done, it was like, you know what, some of these songs, like some of these riffs we play a lot, are pretty fucking good. Like, you want to leave the basement? And so we did. And the first show went off without a hitch, and everybody came to support us. And then the ball just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And like now it's been 13 years and, another full length album, and it's taken off. I really didn't think this would be what happened. And I'm glad it did. And I understand why it did too.
And then I'm dying to hear like the inspiration for the name.
The name was just 4 or 5 guys fighting over what the name should be for too long, and eventually a friend of mine, he put that out there, and I liked it. I was like, that's heavy as heavy can be, and I said, that's what the name of the band's going to be. We got to stop arguing and let's just go forward. And I knew it wouldn't be anyone else's name. I didn't want to get into that shit. And I knew if you're in a record store and maybe you're going through the records, it might go Yeti on Horseback and then Yob. So I'm in.
Nice. And then I want to talk a little bit about, I was going through the catalog a little bit, hitting shuffle, and some of the songs that caught my attention. Fables and Lies. Tell me about like the inspiration for that song or the message in there.
Yeah, that's off our last album, and that was just another one that kind of I guess, debunks Christianity in a way. You know, that's that metal trope where, you know, Satan wins and religion is a fallacy. And I know what I like to hear when I'm listening to metal, and it's these big stories, whether we all believe in it or not. But yeah, that's what that one's about. It's fables, stories, or lies, not the truth.
Nice. And then you know, this one definitely caught my attention too, and it seems to be like somewhat connected to the news with Drake lately, but Erotic Goth Dad. Tell me about that one.
With Drake, yeah.
Nice.
We should probably do a collab. He can buy me a house if he wants to. But yeah, I think that was kind of the same idea, just a little more tongue in cheek. When we're jamming, I kind of just scream things that are topical or front of mind, and that was around the time the cathedral was burning, the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and I screamed "Cathedral burn," and then later on after that, I just said "Erotic Goth Dad," and that was it. And then when Sam came in, I said, well, this is the name of the song and you can run with it. And he's a pretty smart, poetic guy, so he wrote some pretty deep lyrics, and he can tell you what he wrote down.
Yeah, let's hear it, Sam.
Yeah, basically just kind of a simile for sexual trauma and abuse, spiritual terrorism, and the Catholic Church system. Kind of use the metaphor of the flesh being sacred, but also defiled, and you know the fear of burning for eternity, but you're already burning because you've been touched. And the erotic goth dad is kind of the hot molester.
Gotcha. Now, I was talking with Ryan a little bit before we jumped on too about like the videos that you guys put out. I almost feel like I'm being MK Ultra or you know like you know inducted into the cult or something. But who created the video for Erotic Goth Dad?
That was a filmmaker named David Hall, who we were just blessed to work with. He lives in this town, and he's actually just a world renowned film director and visual maker, who's worked with Pig Destroyer and the Melvins and Virus and all these bands. And he just happens to live in our town, and he kind of took us under his wing. I guess the idea of getting dressed in dresses and putting our makeup on, and then it just kind of started snowballing and got creative, and everyone else put their input in. But when Dave gets a hold of it, and whatever he shot and whatever he gives back to you after editing, it's mind blowing. He's a professional, and he's a great artist.
And what was his name again?
His name's David Hall.
David Hall. Okay. Want to make sure I give him props. Now, did he also do the directing for your latest single, Drug Addict?
Yeah, he did that music video, Drug Addict. So, you know, there's 14 minutes of essentially a short film, and then our song comes on. And we thought about separating the two and posting them on YouTube separate, but I didn't really want to. I think the story was told better in the full 30 minutes. And, you know, if people don't want to watch the whole thing, well, they can fast forward, or I don't know what people are doing on YouTube other than watching. So you might as well see what it's all about. But yeah, he did that. He did a music video on our last album for Tree of Death. And he's now kind of a creative partner of this band. And we couldn't be happier.
Nice. Yeah, I with the TikTok generation today, it's just like you're definitely not putting out music or or videos for the people with short attention spans. But you know, if you could sit through like a sitcom, you know, I highly recommend sitting through. You might not come out the same as you went in, you know, watching it, but you know.
Well, it's just as funny as the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
Arguably not as bad of a trip either.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'd recommend like taking mushrooms or something before you watch it, but you know,
Well, that's
who
who
knows?
it's for. It's for people that, you know, it's like when we were younger, you know, we would smoke weed or we would do acid, mushrooms, whatever, and you would sit there and you'd watch old beat clubs and or you'd watch The Song Remains the Same or whatever it was, and it was fun. It was an experience, and you know, a minute and 10 seconds doesn't tell me anything. I'm good. I want to be influenced and infiltrated by art.
Yeah, I got that like I was watching some old like Spawn Ranch Manson family type footage, that found footage or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful.
I got that kind of vibe from it. So definitely for fans of that, definitely check it out. Now the album Traditional Addictions. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, there seems to be a lot of messages of you know, as you already mentioned, trauma and then addictions in the themes. Like what inspired all that for you guys?
Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of joined the band. The album was already musically recorded. There was some vocal parsings done, but thematically, we just had the name and the song titles. So it was kind of creating this formula of like addiction, trauma, which spawns more addiction, and then more trauma, and just kind of begetting each other. And, you know, taking themes from just straight up addiction to, you know, having to risk your life to pay for the addiction with this crazy job on a ship or something, and then, you know, being destitute from the addiction, and then eventually works its way to the church of, you know, I'm found and saved, but now this hot goth dad is molesting me.
So more trauma, basically. It's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
never
So it's
ending
just it's
cycle.
a cycle, and you know, each song is on a side of the album, so you kind of interplay between the two themes, and you know, if you want to listen to it again, well, you're right back where you started.
Yeah, you know, doing some research, like I'm in recovery, so you know, they say like a lot of addiction comes from, you know, just not wanting to feel, wanting to numb out from some
Absolutely.
childhood trauma and stuff like that. But then when you're, like you just said, then when you're living that life and then you lose everything and you're causing the cycle to continue, like with your family and loved ones and stuff like that, you know, it's just like the hurt just, you know, it never ends. Like you were just saying. Now, inspiration for the name, like traditional. Tell me about like traditional, you know, addictions. What you guys were going for with that?
I think that I just wanted to make sure, you know, it wasn't these new addictions. It's not your cell phone. It's not what, you know, content or social media. It's the ones that have always been there, like drugs and alcohol and sex and money, and you know, and that's kind of what these new ones are too. Don't get me wrong. It's just in it. It's just been packaged a different way, but it just
Yeah.
I like the way it sounded. And like these songs wouldn't sound the way they do unless, say, I was full of trauma. Like that's there. You know, this isn't something that just I'm just doing. It's something that I must do. And you know, when I started this album, I drank, and when I stopped the album, I was done drinking, which is kind of kind of a strange timeline, but that's how it went. I was like, fuck. That took a lot out of me.
Yeah, barely made it through this one alive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I like that too, you know, about you know, calling it traditional addictions, like the stuff that we kind of grew up around, because it is a whole new drug out there when you're staring at a screen and getting that dopamine fix, and like, you know, it's like, oh, I got viewers or likes, you know, and these kids are like popping off about that, you know, and it's like we had to do the gnarly shit, you know, for that.
Oh yeah, it was a different time, and yeah, I grew up seeing a lot of it, and yeah, it seemed to sound, it sounded great, and then when you start working on the art, and it just all kind of came together, and it's just we just keep going up and up and up, and the concept is sound, and I think we could probably do it again.
Now, tell me, you mentioned the artwork too. Like who did the artwork for the album?
Just done Ad Astra Tattoo. Worked closely with Ryan and the band on this field journal style, and I think I speak for everyone when I say we couldn't be happier. It was way more than we ever imagined it could be.
And
Yeah.
then, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, I don't know if we planned the art properly or whatever, and she kind of came in as a savior, and she's an amazing artist. But the design work and, you know, the way she worked with me and everyone else, I think it comes from that tattoo side of, you know, like this is going to be yours, and I want it to be what you're thinking, you know, is like this is a permanent piece of art. So she kind of brought that to the album, and yeah, it's unbelievable.
And then tell me about, like, as we talked about, we mentioned it a couple of times. It's just like none of these songs are just like, you know, like you said, the radio hits or whatever, the short and sweet or fast, you know, package. Like, what inspires the writing, you know, the song length and stuff like that?
Well, it just comes from I've always liked a longer song. You know, I'm not done with that riff. Like, why are we moving on? Like, even when it was, you know, Use Your Illusion too, I liked Estranged. I'm like that keeps going. But close to the edge, songs like that. But when you start listening to doom metal, and like say bands like Yob, which was a big inspiration of mine, it's kind of how it goes, and it feels right. You know, a short doom song, I don't know if that feels right. You want to ride with it, you want to feel it, you want to get that head nodding, you want to know what you think is about to happen, because it's been going on for 4.5 minutes and it still doesn't switch, and then eventually it does, just a little variation on the same theme, and I love that.
Yeah, and also for like cheap bastards like me, if I'm gonna go put money in a jukebox, I want the longest. I want more bang for my buck. You know, get the longest track that play in there that everybody has to sit through.
Yeah, our bass player notoriously goes to a bar here in town called the Richmond at the end of a good night out, and he'll put "Child in Time" by Deep Purple on 15 times in a row, and then maybe only stay for 3 of them.
Yeah, I love the what is the app now called or whatever, that when you can go into a bar and they're touch tunes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and no one knows who's doing it, you know, so you can really mess with people. I kind of like throw on some like Richard Cheese or something like that just to really screw with people and then leave, you know.
That's right. Airdrop some air supply and then get the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So now the album, has there been any like plans for getting out and supporting it, or like playing out to support it?
We've been playing. We've played a big show here in London with Napalm Death and Primitive Man. That was a big show for us. We played 4 or 5 shows around Ontario. We got a show next week here in London. We'd love to start branching out and, say coming to Ohio or playing in Michigan, going to Montreal, things like that. So we're going to treat it like that going forward. It's all new to us, and like I had said before, we all have responsibilities and jobs, and we're all tired laborers. And yeah, but we definitely would like to get moving to other parts of the country.
So say if you guys came down to Cleveland, like I was telling you earlier, I could see you guys playing like this place called No Class or the Grog Shop. What kind of travel does that entail for you guys where you're at?
I think Cleveland's what, 10, 11 hours?
Yeah,
Something
something
like
like that. 8,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, we would just have to plan it and play in Detroit and just keep moving that way.
Yeah.
And I'd love to. And I think that's maybe what's next for us is worldwide domination. And the music deserves it, and we deserve it.
I agree. I look forward to that happening. I mean, Yeti's riding through on horseback, just taking over this town. Now, when you guys have been playing some of the new stuff live, which one is your favorite to play? I know it's like asking like what's your who's your favorite kid, but every member of the band kind of has a different one for a different reason. But let's say like you go first, Ryan. Which one's your favorite to play live?
Well, Drug Addict, we've been playing for a while. It's been part of our repertoire, and I just knew it had to be recorded. It's such a punishing song. But favorite song to play is probably Erotic Goth Dad. It's just got so many different layers, and it's so heavy near the end, and people really bite into the riff. And I know we don't have radio hits, but I would say that is the closest. People leave the venues kind of, I've heard them whistling it or humming it. It gets inside their head.
Nice. What about you, Sam?
Definitely Erotic Goth Dad. We always try to close with it. Close second is Through With This Flesh. Just vocally, that song's a real fun one.
Yeah, if I didn't like Erotic Goth Dad enough before talking to you guys, I have to now go back and listen through it again with these new visuals that you guys are giving me. Now, before we get ready and wrap up, like I want to ask you guys a couple questions that I normally ask guests that I have on here.
Beautiful.
You talked about like, some of the influences you had growing up, getting into music, and some that you're like that have inspired you along your journey here. But who are the top 3 artists you guys are listening to today?
Today is kind of the same as it was before. I'm always listening to King Crimson. I'm always listening to Black Sabbath. I'm always listening to Genesis and bands like that, Wu-Tang. It's hard. I wouldn't say it's hard for me to find new music because I do listen to it and I do love it. Sam put me onto a band called Virus last year that I couldn't stop listening to. I'm just all over the map. Sam's more of he finds the new guys. He likes the fresh blood.
All right, Sam, tell us your top 3.
Aranzi Pazuzu. I was fortunate enough to catch them this summer, and I've been into them for a while, but just that performance, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. Can't get enough of those guys. It's a band from New York I just found called Uniform. I've been really into. It's kind of like Swans with a bit more black metal, electronic stuff. And then I've been really digging into the Miles Davis catalog lately. It's a lot of cool live jams and just they're onto some freaky shit, man.
Nice. And then who are 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today?
My father and Michael Jordan and Robert Fripp.
Nice. How about you, Sam?
Fuck, I wasn't prepared for this one. Les Claypool, Leon Kennedy, and Ryan Pelkey.
Nice. And then what are some of the causes or organizations that you guys support and encourage others to check out?
Charity stuff.
Yeah, either charities or just like any kind of like movements or you know, things that you encourage people to get into.
There's one in Ontario called Eggcorn, and they're a non-for-profit that helps people facing like housing crisis, landlords evicting people by renovating, kind of the gray area of the law where people just skyrocket rent. I really like what they're doing because it's hard enough to live out here for most people, and they're fighting the good fight for those people.
Yeah, I asked that question because, you know, it's like, you know, a lot of people don't know what resources they have out there, you know, and I like to give them like a, you know, a shout out or something, or give them some publicity for any fans that are listening. And then going back to cheerier times, favorite toy as a child?
Ooh.
I got there's so many. I love toys so much, but I had a Lion-O Thundercats sword that would shine the emblem on the ceiling. And I got that for like my 5th birthday, and I'll never forget it because it was the most powerful thing I've ever seen. I could just sit in my room and just go Thundercats, Thundercats, boom, and it's on my wall.
Hell yeah.
Nice. How about you, Sam?
I actually still have it. It's
Go get it.
hang on, I'll find it.
Yeah, I love asking this question too, because behind my green screen, I have you know, I'm still a collector myself at heart. You know, I made the mistake of, you know, playing with my Star Wars figures and burying them in sandboxes and, you know, using a magnifying glass on them. I don't know how much money I lost there. Ooh, what is that? Roby?
Robbie the Robot. It was a Radio Shack piggy bank, and yeah,
Oh,
since the
yeah.
circuits have fried, but he would do this kind of little. He'd flip the coin up into him, eat it, and you know, do a little chomp, and I don't know. I couldn't get enough of this little guy when I was a kid.
Nice.
I still got toys all over this house. I got tons of Star Wars in package, not from '77, but from when they re-released the trilogy, and like Spawn toys, and I got a Jimmy Page toy, man.
Oh, nice. From Todd McFarlane one?
That one's not Todd McFarlane, unfortunately, but I do have tons of Todd McFarlane.
Nice. And yeah, shout out to Radio Shack, man. That's old school. I remember that stuff. Somebody told me I was interviewing somebody the other day. I can't recall who it was, but they had something they had bought like similar, like to Robbie, you know, that they had years ago, and the batteries that it took were like specifically for Radio Shack or whatever. And, you know, I think they used to have a warranty where they honored something, and the dude was able to find like one of the only last existing Radio Shacks and went there, and they honored the warranty and gave him the new batteries or whatever. Crazy.
That's a great store. Still doing. You're not going to get that kind of service nowadays.
Nope, not at all, man. Good stuff for sure. Well, before we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you one more thing. Like, for any fans out there that are, you know, new to hearing about Yeti on Horseback and want to support you guys and want to bring you to the States or whatever, where would you send them?
Just our band camp, you know, our Instagram's always popping. You know, Instagram I like looking at pictures. It's a little different than TikTok, a little less speed, yeah. But I'd be going there, and send us a message if you want us to come play somewhere and you want to facilitate it. We can make it happen. We're all adults. We got cars, we got legs, and we love playing.
Awesome. Well, guys, man, it was great talking with you and learning more about you, and definitely going to go back and take another look at some of those videos now, and highly recommend the fans do the same. Beautiful. Nice to meet you, buddy. Yeah, you too, guys. Hopefully I'll see you down here at the Grub Shop or No Class at some point. All right, sounds good. Let's chat. All right, take care.
Listen up! Hold on to your seats. Grab your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Fables and Lies Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.